Hi, everybody. Welcome to my first review of Insecure, the fifth and final season, episode 1. Reunited Okay. This is my favorite show, and it's bittersweet. I'm happy to watch it again, but it's sad to know that it's ending. So I hope it ends on a good note. Before we get started, I'd like you to ask you if you would please subscribe and like this channel and hopefully share the video. I would really appreciate it. So let's get started. We see Kelli is in a car with Tiffany and her husband. They're going somewhere, and Kelli mentions Groundhog's Day. So it's about February. So that is like a month or so after Issa's block party, just to give like a timeline about how soon after the last episode did this episode start. So it seems like a month or so. We find out that they're headed to their 10th year college reunion, and it's in Stanford. I didn't know they went to Stanford. Seems like they would have went to an HBCU. I just never knew they went to Stanford. Well, that's interesting. So Issa, we see her flying in. She took an airplane flight to Stanford. We see them going to the registration booth. They're registering for some event. Issa meets everybody there, including Molly. I guess their friendship was fractured from last season, so it looks like they have very few interactions. They kind of give a sigh hug. Looks a little awkward and uncomfortable. Kelli finds out she's not registered for the event, but Issa is a panelist. She's a panelist due to her company, the BLOCC, but she doesn't remember the acronyms for the BLOCC. She keeps forgetting. The university find out they don't have Kelli registered because they have listed Kelli as deceased, one of their deceased alumni. And then we hear music. The background music is Too Short, a Bay Area artist. They also meet up with their friend Cheyenne. Cheyenne is a former classmate. I think her name is Taja Simpson. She's from the Oval. She plays Priscilla Owen in the Oval. And apparently the girls used to be in some type of dance group, while they were in college together. And Cheyenne left the group, and Issa recalls she left to be a dancer for Sierra. And they do a little dance routine, and apparently Kelli does one too. They're grabbing their foot, and they're stretching it in the air, and Kelli too can do it as well. But Cheyenne is a character. She didn't even pay for the registration. She snuck in. How do you go to Stanford and you don't have money to come to their alumni event? I know people can fall on hard times, and she says she didn't pay for it. She snuck in. So we see that also Molly meets with Amari. I guess that was a former classmate and a friend with benefits. Molly had that type of relationship with this dude, so maybe he'll play somebody more important or significant, or he might reappear later in the series. On the big screen, they show some of their classmates who have passed, including Kelli, and they have some comments under her picture. They say she could always make you laugh. She had the best stanky leg, and she always carried a purse. Kelli Prenny. Prenny is the last name of Kelli, and it's also, I guess, an homage to Prentice Penny. He's the showrunner of Insecure, so his name is tagged in one of the characters. So in honor of Kelli, they start playing Stanky Leg, and Cheyenne and the others are into it. Kelli kind of half-ass into it. I think she's kind of hurt about what was said about her. I mean, it didn't. That's how she's remembered. You'll always carry a purse. Most women carry a purse. That's not saying much. Um, Meanwhile, Issa is in the college bathroom and she's in the mirror talking to her former self, something she does from time to time. And she tells her former self that T-Pain is still fine. T-Pain? Fine? Okay. Um, she also wants to give some a heads up to her former self. She said to invent an app and put photos on an app and call it Instagram. But her former self don't even know what an app is. Issa is too much. So Issa goes to the panel, and I think in the question she was being asked, I don't think she was comfortable. And also, I think she was reflecting more on her life. And I think she's reflecting maybe she's comparing herself to the other panelists, and she doesn't see that she's maybe not doing as much. I don't think she's happy with what she said on the panel. And afterwards, she's walking with Molly, and they walk through. I guess they have sections of, like, the 40th class reunion people are over here, and they walk through the garden where there's a banner that says 40th reunion. They swipe some beers, and they walk and talk. And Molly gets a text from Omari. He wants, I guess he might want to hook up with Molly. Molly is like, now she's like into him a little bit, or she's like worried about if he's going to text or in thinking about him. She's always tripping off a guy. Molly needs to just work on Molly and stop worrying about a man. And Issa's reflecting on her life. She's not happy with Lyft and being a landlord and her relationships. She didn't go into detail about the relationships. More to come, I'm sure. But Molly, in this episode, she seems more interested in wanting a relationship with Issa than Issa wanting a relationship with her. At least, Issa doesn't seem bothered. But the way Molly looks at Issa, she wants to know what Issa's thinking. She wants to be with Issa, and I don't see Issa kind of gravitating towards Molly that way. Maybe she just learned to stand back. I don't know, but you could just see that Molly wanted the relationship more than Issa did. So in the next scene, we see them they're in a car, or actually they're at a table. Molly and Issa, and they get a text from Kelli. Apparently Cheyenne texted Kelli, and they want to ask them to go to Oakland to Reggae Gold. I guess it's some type of club or something that they used to go to. In fact, Issa was kicked out of it at one point. In the next scene, we show all 5 girls in the car. Tiffany is driving, and Cheyenne, Molly, and Issa are in the back. And they're dancing or rocking to some music a little bit. And Cheyenne suggests that they go to a liquor store because this place that they're going to, their liquor is not that good or it's watered down. So they stop to go to the liquor store. And at the liquor store, Molly, Cheyenne, and Issa are out outside of the liquor store. I think they just came out of the liquor store, and they get robbed. Somebody has a gun, and they're trying to get all their stuff. This one guy's trying to get the girl's stuff, like watches and shoes, money. The robber calls out. He knows Cheyenne. He calls her out by name. So he blew the cover because it's a setup that Cheyenne, their friend from Stanford University, set them up and robbed them in Oakland. My goodness. You can't trust nobody. In fact, Cheyenne is asking Molly to come up off her shoes. I guess they're really nice. Molly makes good money. And she took her shoes as well. The girls get back to the car where Tiffany and Kelli are, and they get back in and they tell Kelli and Tiffany that they've been robbed by Cheyenne, and they get to a point where they can laugh about it. I mean, have you ever been robbed by a friend? I know friends might steal things from you, but have you ever been robbed at gunpoint by someone you know like that? Well, after that incident, the next day they head on, or they go to breakfast where they try to have a tribute to Kelli because the tribute at the school was a little weak. They're reflecting on their lives a little bit. They have their breakfast and they head on back where Kelli, Darren, I believe his name is, and Tiffany drive back. And I don't know how Molly got there. Maybe she just took another flight or drove on her own. And Issa, she flies back to LA. And when she gets to LA, she's at the airport. And who picks her up at the airport? Lawrence. They embrace, so I guess they're still a thing. He drives her to her apartment. He gets out the car and he gets her luggage. And she says, she stops him and she says that she had a chance to talk. And she kind of looks funny, but I guess he knows by her demeanor, her tone, what it means. And he just says, I know. And he gives her luggage and she walks away into her apartment, leaving him standing there. So it's going to be real interesting to see what's going on in that relationship. So sounds like Condola, girlfriend, is still pregnant because nothing has been said. And the timeline is she looks like she still could be still in the first trimester of this pregnancy if we're looking at the timeline based on what Kelli said about being Groundhog's Day. It's February 2nd, so it's about a month. So she's 2 months, maybe not quite into the second trimester. So it's still a viable baby so far. So we'll see what happens. I'm real interested to know how this series is going to end because it's been so good up until now. And this is just the first episode, and there's 9 more to go in this season of 10 episodes. So I'll be back every week. I hope you stick with me for these reviews. And again, I would like to ask you to like and subscribe to this channel to help it grow. I would really appreciate it, and I thank you in advance. But I got to get going because I got living to do. Bye-bye.